Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to Tarot by Andy. Thank you for being here. This is my vibrational reading. Please do your own research for entertainment purposes and allegedly. And also, I would like to shout out and say thank you so much for those that contribute to the super thanks button. Greatly appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. Anyways, I would like to do Daddy Thomas Markle. He will not deny nor confirm that his daughter was a yacht girl. So what does that say? Well, I'd say that she's guilty. He's afraid of lawsuits. He's afraid of it leaking out, and then it makes him look like a liar. So boom, you got your answer. Will not confirm nor deny. It's pretty much a giveaway at that point. And really what that was, her doing that was sort of an escort position. And they would go to these, apparently it's for the elites, the movie premieres, you know, the yacht, they stay on boats. It's week long, 2 weeks long, paid very, very large sums of money. It was leaked. It was, you know, something like $30,000 for a couple days. I mean, she really was banking some money. So now you know where she got the money for her wardrobe and staying afloat when she did not have Suits. It was prior to Suits when she was doing this, not after Suits. It was prior to. So at least that's what I'm thinking. Let's get some cards on Daddy Thomas here on his opinion of her extracurricular career. What does Daddy Thomas Markle think of his daughter's extracurricular career? I guess that's a nice way to call it. How does he feel about it? How does he feel about it? How did he feel about it? Well, he felt that it was an 8 of Wands. It was swift, fast momentum here, and he probably was concerned that it would become too public with the 8 of Wands. So with the eight of Wands, she had piercing willpower. It was a swift execution, and so it happened quickly. So you may not have been expecting it. I'm going to take what's sticking out next and pull these. So the challenging position here for him, it was a swallow your pride. He had to swallow his pride that she was doing something he wasn't happy with. So he had to swallow his pride. And the focal point of the situation is the Father card, the Emperor card. He was thinking about how he probably didn't raise her to be that way with the Emperor. That is the respected father. He was a respected father. I'm having to swallow my pride here, and it happened so quickly. Hidden energy is the 5 of Cups. That is feeling rather conflicted emotionally with the 5 of Cups. And also, it is about, you know, despair and sadness. It felt like an emotional loss and regret and just grief, a real disappointment. So there's a lot of disappointment with this card. Past position that no longer serves him is he realized that he could not change the situation. That once you did it, there's nothing you can do. You're stuck. You're stuck with this kind of being on your personal record, in essence. You don't want it on paper, but it's not something you can remove. So it's kind of a done deal. The death in reverse is feeling destroyed. So he felt destroyed over it, and he was hopeful, but this hope was destroyed and stuck and not able to get a transformation and a rebirth, cannot redo it, you know. So this is a stuck position, not happy. Next position, there is a separation. It did cause some separation between the two of them with the 2 of Swords. And he did not want to even look at the situation. He wanted to keep the blindfolds on, didn't want to take them off. So it did create a separation between them at that point in time in her life, during that moment in time. The feelings in the situation is the Hangman in reverse. He felt that it was sort of a traitor position. She was going down the wrong perspective of life. She was, you know, unwilling. He probably felt that she was unwilling to take a new perspective on life and how to do things differently. So the fact that he kind of saw her as a sort of traitor making bad decisions, unwilling to do self-sacrifice for a hard job, getting paid. He didn't want this perspective. He wasn't willing to look at it. He didn't want to look at it. He was actually trying to hang his back. He wanted to turn his back to it. He didn't like it. So he didn't really want to look at it and take a new perspective for himself. either, because it was not a perspective he wanted, because he wanted to remain that leading father and was feeling very broken over it and having to swallow his pride that she was doing this. There was nothing he can do about it. This is a stuck position for him. This was her decision. She took that fork in the road, and, you know, it's emotional fork in the road, and it created a lot of cloudy, miserable days for him, a lot of gloom and doom, because there's a lot of gray there. So a lot of gloom and doom. Didn't like it. So the next position here is the Knight of Cups in the reverse position. And so that is the outside influences. So with the outside influences, basically this is, he did not want her to take on this quest. He was hoping that she would fall off her horse, and that hopefully people would not get the message that she was doing this too, that they wouldn't find out about it. I think it was just kind of a shameful situation. It's more gloom, more doom with the colors, very kind of, dark energy here with the vibe of the colors. And so this really just set him up for probably some depression, I would say, because it is a cup card. So he probably felt like, you know, he lost his daughter for what he raised her to be. It was a bad message that she was sending out to the world. And he didn't love it. He wasn't loving the situation. He felt he's ruled by his heart. He loved her. He cared about her. But at this point in time, he had an inability to control her and to control her emotions and what she was deciding to go by. And it also created a lot of moodiness in him. So, and it wasn't something to celebrate, because upright, the Knight of Cups, is an invitation to celebration. And this was nothing to celebrate. Next card here, he felt that she was lying to him. So she attempted to lie to him. He found out the truth. This is the ninth position, which is the hopes and fears. He was hoping she wasn't lying, but he found out the worst case scenario, she was lying to him. So she was lying, she was veiling it, trying to hide it from him. The final outcome was the Nine of Swords in the reverse position. So with the Nine of Swords in the reverse position, this is feeling despair, having to take a step back, a spiral of negative feelings. His nervous system just kind of went haywire. It just kind of led to this sort of crippling despair. And having to come out of it, wake up from it. And it did give him lots of sleepless nights, and he had to pull out of it. He did pull out of it, but it was not an easy thing to pull out of. It gave him a sense of helplessness. He could not change the situation. He's stuck in the situation. This is nothing he could do about it. She was lying. She did it. He knows it. He also realizes that it gave her smug pleasure. She enjoyed it. It was a job she enjoyed. And that she was not married at the time. She was unmarried, and she was not willing to follow normal traditional standards of life, not duty bound, not willing to follow normal protocol of spirituality and how people live their life. She was going to do things her way and do it differently. And she enjoyed doing it. So she enjoyed being different, in essence. So, and she was going to call the shots. So yeah, this is not something he was pleased with. What do I have here sitting at the top of the deck here is the loss of the loved one card. So he kind of felt like she lost her way, and that, she would be asking herself, is the juice worth the squeeze? And that's sitting there next in the deck there. So he probably felt that at some point in time she would walk away, hoping that her career would pick up. She realized this isn't worth risking an acting career for this, and that maybe she would wake up and come to her senses and walk away from that. And that at that point in time, he would feel like success could be hers if she did sort of walk away and realize the juice was not worth the squeeze to do this. And at that point in time, she could have her wheel spin forward and go have forward momentum in her life. But he also realizes with the Ace of Swords in reverse that he would lie about it. He has clarity about it, but he's going to lie about it. And he's going to be dishonest about it. And he's going to try and cut out the conversation about it because it was poor judgment on her part. And he wanted to bury it with the Four of Swords, hide it because it felt like defeat. And we have here, and it was a negative path here. It was not a path of light and going on a positive journey. It was a negative journey part of her life. and the devil energy was coming out, and there was no strength, no equilibrium in the relationship at that time. There was no balance going on, and so her dark side did come out during that time period, and it was gaslighting. So he's willing to gaslight for her, and she was gaslighting him, and he's in return kind of keeping the cover for her lives. And then we have here the Knight of Wands upright. So, you know, it gives him a sense of purpose, strength and purpose here. The Knight of Wands represents someone who is fearless in their adventures. He kind of feels like that's kind of Megan. She's very fearless in whatever adventure she pursues. You can't stop her. When she wants to manifest an idea, she's going to do it. She's going to turn that pursuit into a vision. She can be very brash and impulsive and unrealistic, and he knows that. And he still was going to be there for her, regardless, with the 10 of Pentacles. Whenever if she faltered, fell off her horse, decided it was a bad idea, it was not the growth she was looking for, it was gaslighting herself even, that it was even a good idea, he was still going to be there for her as a solid base with the 10 of Pentacles. So there you have it. So in the center of the deck, what we have here, it was an entanglement he was unhappy with, the devil energy. On the other side of the deck here, I have 3 of Swords. It was a triangulation with sex and the devil energy and a dark lifestyle that he was realizing at some point in time, everybody would heal from it with the 3 of Swords in reverse, and there would be forgiveness and apologies. So that is how it goes down. So yeah, he is hiding it from her, he doesn't want to admit it because he's kind of sticking to his narrative of what he's always done, and he's probably kind of created a different narrative in his head as to what she was doing with her life. And apparently that is kind of what happened with Doria. Doria claims that she was a flight attendant when it was dug into and researched, she never was a flight attendant. So it was sort of a cover. So I think in this family, they're used to using covers for past jobs and things they did that were kind of shady. And so he probably used a cover for her as well. Bookworm 2 put out a video on just most recent about Doria using a flight attendant label as something she did, and she never truly did. So I didn't finish watching all of it, but I found that to be highly fascinating because it seems that a lot of people use flight attendant position as a good cover to cover up for other jobs they might be doing, because you know what, a flight attendant's on the road a lot. They're flying in and out, they're doing, you know, so you can't really keep track of where they're at and what they're doing. It just really is a great cover. Who knows, maybe Megan used that as her cover at the time. I suppose I should ask, because it seems like the flight attendant is a popular one. So, and I actually know a girl that did use that as an excuse, and she was no flight attendant, I guarantee it. So I thought, I had to laugh at that, and I even commented. So did Meghan Markle use flight attendant as an excuse for what she was doing as an occupation? Did she use flight attendant position? No, she did not. I suppose that was just her mother. So did Doria use flight attendant as a position where she actually never did actually do it? And it says yes. Yes, indeed, she did. So she was a hippie, you know, she had this hippie lifestyle, plus she was in prison, and it was probably a good excuse to tell a little girl, your mom's a flight attendant, she's never around because we don't know where she's at today. So that's, yes, okay, so let's get some more. And book of knowledge, having to learn more. Yeah, so she had to learn her lesson socially. She had to learn more socially about what she was doing. So that's learning your lesson in a lot of respects. Yeah, it was a social lesson, really. So she probably learned a lot about human nature, and she probably learned how to manipulate men better by doing it. It educated her on how to be a better snake. Yeah. Yeah, she learned the art of snakedom. She learned it. Yeah, she learned how to do it better. You know, it gave her extra skills. Kind of reminds me of Jelaine, Miss Maxwell. Yeah, so yeah, it just got her to become more dark, really. What happens when people get into dark energies and around that stuff, you do become like the company you keep. And she is no different. She learned how to be a better snake socially. That's what that's saying right there. Yikes. Yeah, and it's kind of like prison too. Prison's the same thing. It doesn't make you better, it makes you worse. Let's get to the center of the deck. Center of the deck, yeah, there's a lot of lies, illusions, deception, living in fear. It's just all a mask. Everything's it's not reality. It was sort of an illusion. The whole world, that whole world was sort of like an elusive thought, it was just an illusion, a dark illusion of fakeness. It's just not a real life. She realized it was just not total reality, and she knew she couldn't stay in it forever. And that's basically what the other spread said. And her dad knew she wouldn't stay in it, and that at some point in time she would ditch it. So she only used it to get to a certain level, probably to help her get to the next level, and then was able to dump it. And it did teach her how to be a better snake. So I guess there's something she got from it, because look where she's at now. So, well, I'm being facetious. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoy this. Till next time, like and subscribe. Bye, you guys.